Hi, it's Cindy. There are two routines for this week that you get to choose between. One of them is this one, Think, Puzzle, and Explore. And in this routine, they suggest using it at the beginning of a unit or a new topic or something like that, which would definitely be great. You could also use it for a topic that is so large that there is no way. You just can't cover it all. You have to prioritize it. It's just life. So, for example, when I taught the Civil War with students, there was no way we were going to get through all of the different aspects and meet all of the needs of students if we were going to continue with the whole class kind of approach. It just wasn't going to happen. And so, a routine like this would be a great way to say to students, hey, what are some things that you think you know or that you know about this topic? They could probably list a whole bunch of stuff if it's the midpoint, right? Or even getting on towards the end. I don't know if I'd recommend this one for the end though. Then you would have them go through, well, what questions or puzzles do you have? Like what things are you still like, I don't get this. I'm still thinking through this. How is this possible? How did this happen? Those sorts of things. Have them listed out. That list may not be as long, right? And then have them go and think, okay, well, what might you like to explore? And have them list some things. Like with the Civil War, I had some kids who were so interested in things like how some women were able to slip through and they were able to serve in the war, like in infantry. They were like, what? That was possible? That happened? Well, yeah, okay. So they wanted to go and explore that. There were some kids who were like, I want to know more about the Gatling gun, and I want to know more about other types of weaponry that were used, or about the technology in the Civil War. And sure, we covered a few of those things and talked about it as a class. We don't have time for all that. And so a thinking routine like this would be an excellent thing to then use as a jumping off point for something like a Genius Hour, where a student or a small group of students could dive into one of their puzzles that they then want to explore. So that's a way that you could potentially use this one. Now, another thing is though, if you use it at the beginning of a unit, you will find out a lot about, okay, I don't need to talk about this because I have a lot of students who clearly already know about it, or maybe I won't spend as long on that. Knowing that students been there, done that, we want to make sure that we're giving students an experience every time they walk into class and that they're walking away with something new in terms of content and in terms of skills. We don't want to bore them to death. And so doing a routine like this at the beginning of a unit, it would let you know, okay, I'm an art teacher. Oh, so they already know a lot about abstract art, or they've already studied artists like Jackson Pollock, and so maybe they're not so interested in his splatter paintings. Maybe they want to know more about Rothko and why the heck is he doing color blocks and those sorts of things. All right, so this is a great routine for that. Now, I will say though, the focus of what I'm talking about in this video is being tight on your timing when it comes to individual think time, when it comes to student share time, when it comes to coming back together as a class time. You don't want things to go on and on forever. You want to use probably a timer to say, students, and to put the urgency on too, right? Students, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. And in 3 minutes, I'm going to set my timer. And in 3 minutes, I want you to write down as many things as you think you know about this topic. Write them down. Pencils ready? Let's go. Okay, great. Then when the timer stops, you say, pencils down, everybody. We're done. Okay, looking around. We all set to go? Wait for everybody to be with you. And then go, all right, now I am going to have you, not yet, but in one moment, I'm going to have you turn and talk with a student who is seated either behind or in front of you, or a student who is seated next to you, or I want you to lock eyes with a student across the room right now. Take a moment, lock eyes. That's your partner. In just a moment, you're going to get up, you're going to talk to that person. One of you is going to share first. The other of you is going to share second. You're both going to listen carefully to what your partner has to say, because then I'm going to be calling on you and saying, what did your partner just say to you? What did your partner just say to you? So make sure that you're listening. Then you say, I'm going to give you 1 minute and 30 seconds to share with your partner. Set your timer. Say, go. Set your timer and go. Okay? And then when time is up, you say, up. Voice is off. Wonderful. Once all voices are off, then you speak again and you say, all right, now I want to know. Randomly. You, tell me what your partner said. You, what did your partner say? You, what did you say? You, what did your partner say? Write it down for them. If you have a whiteboard or if you have something digital that you're taking notes on or whatever, make it visible to students to show them, hey, I hear you and I think your thinking is valuable. I'm going to show it to the whole class. I think it's so valuable and everybody should be paying attention. All right. And then you move on to the next step. You have everyone reseated and now you say, okay, now we're going to do puzzle. For puzzle, I want you to write down all of the questions that you have about this topic. I don't want you to curate. I don't want you to self-censor. I don't want you to worry about spelling or grammar or any of those kinds of, no, this is your thinking, okay? This is not a grammar test or a spelling test. So, does everybody understand what we're about to do? What are we doing? Tell me. Okay, we're writing down questions. Now, I've got my timer set for 3 minutes. If you get stuck, you're silently thinking, but I want to see those pens or pencils moving throughout. Go. And again, timers are such a huge help, and putting the urgency on the activity and not giving students too long for any one task will make it so that they stay with you. And the more that you build in opportunities for partner talk, to share those ideas, to bring them back to their table. Maybe to even, you could say, jot down what are 2 or 3 things that your partner said to you that you thought, I want to steal that, I want to borrow that, I want to write it down. Okay? All of that helps to keep these thinking routines really engaging and doesn't let it go stale. Now, let's see. See, think, me, we is our other routine. Same deal. You've got 4 different segments here, right? So for see and for think, you definitely want to think about and try it on your own before you do it with your class, right? First, what are you going to give them to notice? Okay, what are you going to give them that they are looking closely at and making a lot of observations of? Is it rich enough? Always ask yourself that and try it yourself. What do I see when I look at that thing? I see this and this and this and this. Don't let those inferences slide in there because you've already got prior knowledge, right? No, just what do you see? Okay, how long might my students need? Oh, I think maybe they might need 4 minutes because it's really rich and there's a lot of stuff there, right? Whatever it might be. And then again, use your timers. Think, same deal, okay? You want to go, okay, how long will they need to write down the thoughts that they have about the work? Okay, how long will they need? So like if they're looking at something like Banksy, right, and some of the graffiti art, or if they're looking at whatever it might be, if they're looking at Keith Haring, one of those huge things with all the figures in it or whatever, what are some thoughts that they have about the work? And it also, with this one, it's kind of open. You could also slip in some wonderings too, some questions. And then sharing in between with those, awesome. But then you get down to step 3, which is me. What connections can I make between myself and this work? Because that's always something about artwork, right? In particular, is artist isn't around to explain it anymore, right? So, or probably isn't standing right there to tell you exactly what they meant. It's up to you. You're seeing a reflection of yourself in the piece as well. So what connections can you make? That might be a really important part to model for students so that they are clear on what you mean by that. And then there's we. So how might this be connected to the world, to what we're learning about in class, to other things I already know? It's kind of like in ELA, we talk about text to text, text to self, text to world. It's kind of like that in this. Now, it also is an opportunity for a discussion. You could stop after you've done 1, 2, and 3 and say, what do we think? And that could come out as more of like a paragraph response after the class has had the opportunity to discuss it. You could also flip it so that it's see, think, we, me. You could do that as well with this routine. But regardless, think about the timing and keep it tight. When time is up, it's up. Quick discussion if that's what you're doing with it, and then move forward. All right. I hope that's helpful. I've found that timing, especially, I used to teach middle school. I taught middle school for a while, but also high school. And now I'm dabbling in some elementary stuff. Timing is so crucial. And when time is up, time is up. Time to do the next, time to share. It just keeps it moving in a way that I think most students really enjoy. And it's always kind of cool to say, look around and be like, oh, when a student raises their hand, oh, Miss Shapiro, I wanted more time. Can you give me more time? I mean, isn't that like music to your ears when you go, oh, they had so much thinking going on. It's wonderful. All right. So anyway, just some tips.